Okay, we have this triangle. Angle A is 40 degrees. I have side B, and I have side C. Side A is 10, and side C is 7. If you look at the other triangle we had yesterday, we had side A was 85, or angle A was 85, angle B was 32, and side B was 20. What I'd like you to do is with this worksheet, I would like you to have your notes and take out the very last page of your notes. Okay. Yesterday, we were covering the lesson on the law of sines. And if you notice, we really just covered two types of triangles. As I look at this triangle here, how many angles are we given and how many sides are we given? We're given two angles. Now, this is something that you learned in geometry that you may not remember. There's two ways to write this situation. I can either write it as an angle. I can either write it as an angle, angle, and a side, or an angle, side, and an angle. Do you know which of the two this is? Does the side sit between the two angles? If the side was here, which it is not, then it would be angle, side, angle, because the side sits between the two angles. Do you see that? This is so crucial that I introduce this now so you understand what the heck's going on Monday. Otherwise, Monday we will be lost. Okay? So this is an angle, angle, side situation. Maybe you remember that back when you took geometry, that angle, angle, side was one of your congruence theorems. And it is a congruence theorem. And because it's a congruence theorem, there is just one solution, and we use the law of sines. That's why yesterday worked out so nice, where every time we were given a situation, we just plugged them in and we found it worked out. Now, these are actually almost the same type of situations, because if you know two angles, do you know the third? Yeah. So really in this situation, it's angle, 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 and a side. And here it's angle, 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 and a side. So there's really no big difference. As long as we're given two angles, there will be just one solution. Notice that if we have all three angles, but we don't have a side, we can't solve that triangle. It's no solution. Let's look at the situation that we deal with today. How many sides are we given here? We're given two. Is this a side-side angle or a side-angle-side? Which one is it? If I was given this angle, then I would be given an angle, a side, and an angle. I'm sorry, let's disregard this. If I was given this angle, then I would be given a side, angle, and a side. The angle would be between the two sides, but I don't have that angle, do I? So therefore, I have a side, and an angle that's not between the two. I have this situation. Do you remember, does side angle guarantee congruence in geometry? It doesn't, because backwards it spells donkey, right? Yeah, we can't have that. Wait. I could write it as ASS as well. And, you know, since it spells a bad word, it doesn't work. Remember that? Your teacher showed you that, right? You paid attention that day, right? Donkey doesn't work. So let's see what happens in that situation. Look at your notes that I have out. As long as you can follow this, we'll be good for the day. I have a side, and angle situation. And in order to know how to solve, I have to follow it down here. And I have to answer this question. Is the side opposite the angle longer than the other given side? Or is the side opposite the angle shorter than the other given side? Later. So let's look here. Is the side opposite my angle longer than the other given side, or is it shorter? It's longer than the other given side. And if that is the case, and by the way, this is the sheet of notes that you get on the test, then we say, hey, it's longer than the other given side. There is just one solution. So today, this is where we will live, okay? We are going to look at sides where the opposite side is longer than the other given side, and we will have just one solution. So let's solve this one together, okay? I have angle A as 40 degrees. I have side C is 7. I have side A is 10. What would you like to solve for first? Do you think we'll be solving for an angle or a side in this situation? You're going to set up sine of what? 40 over 10 is equal to sine of, do I know an angle? I don't. So do I choose angle B or do I choose angle C? I choose angle C. Why, Tito? Because you know side 7. Let's solve for sine of C. What will I multiply both sides by? I want to solve for sine of C, so I multiply both sides by 7. I get 7 sine of 40 over 10 is equal to sine of C. Let's figure out what 7 sine of 40 over 10 is. 7 sine of 40, parenthesis, divided by 10. I get 0.4499. Is that my angle? No. How do I find the angle? I've done it many times before. Yeah, you just do second sine. And I can press second answer to get that exact value in there. And it gives me 26.74. So I know angle C is 26.74. Second sine, and I put that in. Yep, exactly. Can I find angle B now? How? 180 minus 40. I get 113.26. Can I now find side B? Yep, I'm going to just use the law of sines. That will give me the value of B. I take sine of 40 over 10 is equal to sine of 113.26 over B. I get 1429. Looks like my solutions are reasonable. My biggest angle is B at 113. My biggest side is B at 14. My smallest angle is C at 26. My smallest side is C at 7. Let's try one more example. You guys can have the rest of the time to work. Actually, our difficult lesson won't be on Monday. It will be on Tuesday. There's one more skill we need to teach you before that. Okay. I'm going to draw my triangle. A, B, and C. A is 17, C is 15, and A is 125 degrees. How many sides do I have in this situation? I have two sides, and I have one angle. Is this a side-side angle or a side-angle side? This is a side-side angle. And so according to our chart, we know that we either have one solution or something else. We need to check, is the side opposite longer than the other? What's the opposite side of 125? 17. Is that longer than the 15? So therefore, there's just one solution. You won't have to go through and check this chart at all today. They will all work out. But on Tuesday, you will have to. And from there on, you'll have to check that chart and know how to read it. So let's write it out. I got 125. C is 15. A is 17. So I go sine of 125 divided by what? 17 is equal to, what would you like to find now? Do I have a choice? What do I have to choose for an angle? C. Sine of C over 15. So if I multiply by 15, I get 15 sine of 125 divided by 17. Or 0.7228 is equal to the sine of C. How do I find the angle? Second sine. And Haley, your question was, if you don't press the answer key, then yes, just 0.72278. You know, as long as you can do to 4 decimal places, you're fine. But if you're going to type in the decimal, you should type it into 4 places. 46.28. So that would be angle C, 46.28 degrees. Am I able to find angle B now? Subtract from 180. 180 minus 125 minus 46.28. 8.72. How do I find side B? We cross multiply. 17 sine of 8.72 divided by sine of 125. 3.15. Please round your answers to the nearest hundredth. So I did problem example 2 for you. I did problem number 2 for you. Today, all of the evens will follow accordingly. All of the odds will be like yesterday. You're going to want to hold on to this worksheet because we're going to do one more thing with the worksheet on Monday. Okay? And then we'll finally be able to put this worksheet away and go to a different piece. You have the rest of the time to work. The answer key is posted on the board, folks.